my darkest moment in my life, when I cannot see light or hope in my whole life. Somehow you came. When you begin to draw out, you map it out for me, that gave me a glimpse of light.
Life by default is really not worth living, but life by design is the life that you want to pursue.
I have this limiting belief that I'm still in the valley. There's always this voice that haunts me. Who are you to coach them? Are you better than them?
The biggest value for us is really you have a coach who really stand for you, really want you to win.
Yeah.
It's not about me, it's really about you. All right, this episode we want to welcome Kevin Lau. Is our 10 strategy coach 002, right? Just right after Paul is a second coach, and he's also the strategy coach of the year, Scotty 2020. He's also a team leader of Team Exponent in 10 strategy coach. So I want to welcome him and share his insight and experience over the past almost 10 years in 10 strategy coach. Welcome to the IPO-Ready podcast for 10 strategy coach. Okay, so let me jump into it. Welcome Kevin to the podcast. Is it your first official podcast as a guest?
Yes, it's my first podcast.
Yeah, okay, welcome. Okay, let me jump into the question, right? Okay, tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you become a 10 strategy coach?
Thank you for having me here. I think this is my definitely my first official podcast. How was my journey as I become a coach? You're saying that, right?
Yep.
So definitely I was invited by the founder, who's you, of 10x. So I remember vividly it was back in 2018. Yeah. So you called me up and then asked me what I was doing and then wanted to pay me a visit. So that was a time that, I think we struck that conversation as you visited me. But of course, in depth of how I then joined as a 10x coach is, I believe that was my darkest moment in my life, I would say. Really my darkest moment in my life. January 2018, I remember vividly. In my whole life of knowing you, there's only twice that you visited me, right? One is back in early 2010, I believe. Yeah, we went in a project together. And then after that, that was the second time, 2018. And I think it was very timely. I mean, for me, I'm a Christian, so I believe that it's a godly time. God somehow just put things together. During that moment when I cannot see light or hope in my whole life, and somehow you came, and I think you came. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you come knowing that I'm in my darkest moment in life. Yeah, you just purely come and then probably want to ask me how am I doing and probably share a bit of 10x with me.
The truth was I have a meeting cancelled. So I think then I was around there. Then of course, like I said, it could be. I'm sure it's an intervention because of so many things. I mean, a lot of friends stay in BU also, right?
Yep.
So then it just popped. Hey, how have you been up to? So then I call you.
Yeah, wow, amazing. Okay, now I know the truth. Okay, when you found out that I really don't have a direction in my whole life, or rather I don't see a glimpse of light at all, that's when you chart for me. I think that action of yours, when you took out your iPad, you begin to draw out, you map it out for me, that gave me a glimpse of light. I still remember, we had a long conversation, and I mentioned to you that even if you have a stack of money in front of me, I don't even have the energy to, or even the will to pick it up anymore. So the last sentence that you told me, which I really, really can remember, even the expression of your face and even how you say, hey, before you decide anything in your whole life, you say, Kevin, you say, hey, before you go with your plan, if you don't have a plan, why not try my plan first, right? After 1 year, if it still doesn't work, you continue your plan. I remember you say that. I mean, of course, not word by word, but it's exactly that. And that kind of like gave me, okay, why not, right? Rather than continue with my own plan, which is just to end everything, and you said just work with your plan. So that really somehow is a turning point. That somehow is a moment that I say, okay, my first step into embarking into this journey with 10x. I think you took action really fast. Immediately you say, okay, the following week you say, let's book a ticket, let's go. 10x has a event. I think we have a preview event in Terengganu. So that's when you book the flight, and that's where I met you, I met Paul, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Wow, great. perhaps, I mean, thank you for sharing this.
Yeah.
Of course, I remember vividly that time. As I said, I also didn't know why I have so many friends. And suddenly I thought I want to pay you a visit. So yeah, I think I also remember that when I go, I still remember the house. They didn't on the light. It was so dark. Then I was going. I say, "Hey, why you didn't on the light?" On I say, "Oh, because you say family is not around. Your wife." I still remember say your wife bring the kids back to hometown.
Yep.
So you're alone.
Yep.
So then we started the conversation. So, but I just want to ask also. Of course, you came out of it, right? So, of course, now into a great path. But my wherever you went through that time, we don't know, you call it a valley or a depression or whatever that is. What is your? I mean, looking back, I'm sure you are not the only one in the world is facing this. There's so many of people,
Yep.
so many people are facing it. In fact, we don't even know from the surface, right? So, but what would be your advice for people who are actually going through that season of life?
To me, I think I'm very grateful for you, for friends. It's important that not to keep our life overly private. I think today's society, a lot of people like to have their life private. I mean, they look like they are a public figure on social media, but actually their life, they're very close up. They're not open for people to speak into their life. I think that would be the biggest downfall for people to fall into that trap. And a lot of them actually took their own life. So we must have this mentality or have this mindset that, hey, we need to open up our life to a few people that we can trust. And how do we know these are the few people that we can trust? We have to go back to our principle, who we are as a person. What is the foundation of us making decision? What is the value? I think it's important to recognize that. If we don't know that, I think it's time to at least, how do I find out what is the value that I will hang on to for the rest of my life? It's important to have this group of people. You don't need a lot, but we need that few people that have same value, same principle, hold us together. You cannot live in this world alone. That's what I truly believe. I mean, imagine that time I was so close up. I don't open up my life to anyone. Today,
You didn't open the door for me.
yeah,
Yeah, really. I look back, if I say I want to come, you say no.
yeah.
Then we have a different story, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Today you'll be visiting my tombstone. Yeah. So I mean,
Today will be
looking
a
back,
memorial, not a
yeah,
not a podcast.
yeah. I mean, looking back right now, I'm just so grateful. Every time when I think about that, when it comes to January, I always remember that, hey, 2018 is always a time that, wow, I from a dead person became alive again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you. I think what I hear, number one is being open to people in your life. Or another word, I always, when I talk to even couple or I see it's exclusive versus inclusive. I mean, there's more on relationship, but I think it's linked also, right? I mean, it's just a different way of saying open and close or inclusive, exclusive. So I this also linked to couple, right? I see a lot of couple, once they get into a relationship, they become very exclusive, just both of them. There's no other people. Everywhere they go is all the friends is lost. And of course, this is actually not even healthy if you continue to go on, even after marriage. I say you also need to include, of course, you don't always need to include people, but they should be also inclusive, right? So, but of course, the worst case is when I see people eventually they part ways and both of them have no more friends because they have been so exclusive on their own. But I think even they didn't break up, you get married, it's also not good. They have nobody to, just like I said, nobody had able to speak into their life, right? So I think what I hear you say to being open, not overly private, but being open. So second thing I hear is also need to decide the voice, right? A voice that they're able to speak into your life. I think that's linked to our coaches as coaching journey as well, that we become the voice for others and also allowing others to become the voice for us. And then third thing I hear is accountability, right? Having being accountable to people that you can trust. Of course, all this come with a context. Not asking, let's say, open doesn't mean you open everything. Then voice doesn't mean you have listen to all the voice or only one person is absolute right. And also accountability doesn't mean that you are everything you are accountable to everybody. So all this is coming into context, just like we always say, the best of both worlds in the intersection. So not extreme, but where is the intersection is our wisdom. Different stage of our life, we need to have a different intersection. But I think hearing that also advice for people who are facing challenges, because I think the skill is very different. Some people are in really one, which is like say this almost wanting to take their life, right? Or peak and valley of their lives, right? 5 is in the middle, 1 is really, really down, then 10 is at their height. So probably 1, when they're lowest, is really wanting to take their life away. It's really, I think during that season of time, who are the people that can speak to you that you are open to? I think, I think that like I say, in the world right now, I think mental health is definitely a very real issue. I always felt, I don't know, 20 years ago when I started business, I always felt mostly entrepreneur face mental health issue because why? Because generally most of the people, 90% are employee, only a few percent are entrepreneurs. And entrepreneur, when you embark on this journey, is bound to have, is actually embarking on a journey of uncertainty, and uncertainty is also the one of the root cause of stress, right? And from that you build up. That's why it's easier for entrepreneur to get the mental health or depression. But I think over 20 years is just opening up the world, the negatively, that people are not in, even in their having employment and everything, but they are still having so much of uncertainty, stress, and the mental health is real. So that's why I say really it could be a different parameter or different range. I think if you, just like you said, we are always being open, not so overly private, we always have a voice who can speak to us and having accountable, we can have a protected or guarded life, that we are not one day suddenly wake up, we are at the valley or at the fall down to the, what do you call that, like a slope or whatever, or the mountain.
Coffin already.
Coffin already. So yeah, I think great. Thank you for sharing that, and I think that is a interesting. A very interesting way to begin the journey, because as I talk to different coaches, because now we are in a journey of speak to different coaches, even on or off, means that on podcasts or even off podcast, I'm also going through a journey to really speak to all the coaches, what makes them take, what makes them so passionate about this, and what gives them joy, what gives them, what is their challenges, and what's their peak and valley. Everyone, in fact, even just first question of how do you become a tennis coach, everyone start from a different path, right? Some people start from their peak of their valley, their peak of their life or career. Some people start with the valley, like for you is the, I think is the most valley of the valley, right? The king of the valley. So you started that, and some people start in the middle, or everyone just have a different path and journey. So interestingly, I think yours is really the king of the valley, right? So we probably need to give you an award for our board record for that.
King of Valley Award.
The king of the valley. Yeah, great. Next, okay, looking back, I think what was I think looking back, first, like you said, you started. I still remember really vividly. You said, I don't know how low or how down were you when, but I think when you tell the picture, I think it's very clear that you say even because I showed you the plan, right? I said maybe you do this, and of course, then you say, yeah, it makes sense. But I think you were saying that even now there's a stack of cash in front of me, I also don't have energy to reach out my hand to grab. So I understand how severe was that. But first, probably you just trust me and just go along and just started this and just see how it goes, right? And of course, then my question is, what was the turning point that made you think that, hey, this is serious, right? For you as a career. Of course, your whole life, the first half of life is not I mean, totally nothing to do with coaching, right? You are a sound engineer, then you come into video production, and that's your whole life, and recognized as a video guy.
When do I start to take this seriously, right? I think definitely after Paul, after the, you mentored Paul, and then Paul has his breakthrough and success, everything. So I came in later. I was taking, just follow and watch. So I wouldn't, I actually, I have no clue what I got myself into, to be very frank. I just know that my plan didn't work. I just need to follow someone's plan. So I followed your plan. And that time you're just assigning me things that I'm familiar with, do a bit of video and this and that. So when things are smoother, I kind of like taking a backseat, just passenger, just following through the journey. And eventually, I think we have more and more coaches coming in. We have Andrea, I think Jerome, and all these coaches starts to come in. All of them were taking proactive steps to, in this journey. The turning point will be the time when, before the turning point, I think there was one response from you in March or April 2018. I was not making any progress in business health check or anything. And my excuse to you was, I need to move house. I
Mm.
remember he make a remark, wow, 搬屋可以成年嘅咩？ So it's like you move house, you need to take 1 whole year to take house. So
I still remember I said every day you move out.
yeah.
I said move out every day,
Yeah,
move on. Is it?
yeah.
No break time. Every day you
Yeah.
move out.
So
So busy.
but that time I was like, I would say that was my just an excuse for me to avoid. Yeah, it's just for me to avoid going to BNI, going to all the business platform because I don't feel comfortable at all. Seriously, I mean, you know me. I don't join this kind of platform. I don't go to platforms to equip myself, develop myself, and everything. I'm just trying to find excuse to avoid those kind of situation. So that was me. So I moved house every day, as you mentioned. Long story short, it was August 2018 when everyone was making progress. Business health check coming in, people are closing client, and we had our Monday full day 12 hours WIP, in Tri Damansara that time. I think then break time you ask, hey bro, how's the BNI? BNI, I didn't join. Then I still remember your reaction. Then, of course, that time you were quite upset already. I said, everyone already taking effort, everyone already joined, and you, among them, you're the first or so-called senior to join in already. You're not taking action. And I remember you said, bro, I give you 1 month. That was August. I give you 1 month. 1 month, you're not taking any action already. I cannot help you anymore. I think that word was a ultimatum from you lah. When you said, that's it. I cannot help you anymore. If you this 1 month you're not doing anything at all, I can't help you anymore. So that time I had to ask myself, do I still want to be part of this or not? Was I very sure that I can be a good coach? Don't know. Because I haven't even started a journey. I mean, I'm just in the WIP. Who doesn't like the WIP? It's fun, everyone get to learn there. We laugh at each other, we have fun with each other, we learn. And after that we have our bonding session. So many fun games and everything. Who doesn't like? We have meals, everything, right? Paid by Joycia. So who doesn't like that kind of environment? But the thing is, I so enjoy that part. I reflect back, every year as I reflect back, I think I was very much a taker. Nothing wrong being a taker in the beginning, because when you're empty, you have to receive lah, you take lah. But I was so complacent being a taker that I continue being a taker rather than being a contributor or a giver. So if you to word it that way, that time I wasn't even contributing in anything other than being there, adding up to the numbers. So when you gave me an ultimatum, I had to ask myself, do I want to stay here? So I again, this thoughts was in my head, I just had a short conversation with my wife that time. I said, hey, Joycia gave me an ultimatum today. I say, what? Is it because you don't have client? No, it's because I'm not taking any action, because I didn't join any business platform, BNI and everything, when everyone else is doing it already. So then my wife was saying, throw me one transformative question only. So do you think you want to grow in this platform? Have you grown in this platform? I said, personally, I've definitely been better. Is this a platform that you want to go for the long haul? She asked me this question. I love this family. To me, I use that word family. You see, I don't take it as a community. I say, I love this family. Then, is BNI that hard? She asked me that. Actually, it's not lah. It's just me not willing to be uncomfortable, because I'm putting myself into something that I never did, don't like to do. I assume that I'm not good at it. So then I said, okay, I got the idea already. So then I started to visit a few BNI, and then eventually I joined just before the end of August. It was September. And then, long story short, I think it was that time when I joined BNI, I have no choice but to follow the BNI system. So I have to push myself. It's not comfortable, but growth is the same thing, right? When you want to grow, it's not comfortable. You have to stretch. So my first BNI meeting, I cannot sleep. That 30-second introduction, I practiced for 4 hours in front of the mirror. 4 hours. And of course, the feedback was good. People didn't know that was my first time speaking in front of strangers. I mean, it's one thing to speak in front of friends, but it's another thing to speak in front of people that you totally don't know. Let alone is in a business environment when everyone is in front there trying to impress everyone kind of thing. So, but when I went up there and then I began just introduce myself as a coach, and then I used the analogy of the waist. I think people were so impressed. They thought I've been doing this for many years. So that gave me a confidence actually. Yeah. So, but they didn't know I practiced for 4 hours, in the night, cannot sleep. Then, towards 3 months down the road, I closed my first client. The end of December, I closed my first client. So yeah, then the conclusion to myself is, actually, it's not hard to see breakthrough. It's just whether do I want to make the first move or not, to be uncomfortable. Yeah, the turning point was really the deciding factor. When you gave me the ultimatum, I have two options. One, I walk away, right? And then potentially I fall back to my valley again, right? And or if I found hope here, I found a family here, then I have to choose to build lor. I have to choose to be willing to be stretched, be willing to be disciplined, I will call it. Yeah, the word is called discipline, be challenged in a good way so that we'll grow. So a lot of times I think man, as you grow, especially man, human, there's a part where there's ego. We're not willing to be stretched. We're not willing to be corrected, because when you're being corrected means you're not good enough. We don't like to be mentioned that we are not good enough. I think that was me. I won't speak for everyone, but at least for my case is the moment they say, hey bro, you need to improve in this area, I feel it's like, my perception is, oh, you're saying I'm not good enough. Wow. And I don't like that. So last time I always, and then I walk away just because I don't like to hear that. Wow. Yeah, but today it's different. I mean, of course, along the years, many times you mentioned about that, hey, bro, don't look at negative things. Look at it from perspective where it's an opportunity for you to grow, to be better, a better version of you. So even being able to do this podcast today is really, everything started to change from 2018 onwards, I would say, seriously. Before that, I have no clue where I was heading in my life. So yeah, the turning point will be your ultimatum. Wow. So if the ultimatum came earlier, maybe it would have been.
Very good. I think, yeah, I think it's very powerful. I think I from here I summarize a few things. First thing I hear is, in your word is the ultimatum. I think if I sum up that one word is that, okay, we can do whatever it is. Actually, I will link also the whole journey into the voices, right, that we talk about, the three voices. But I think ultimately the leader can give the three voice, but the recipients must also have one word, which is commit. I think what I hear is, you said you look at the option and then you decide. For decision is one. I always talk about the decision is to cut off, means that maybe leave a lot of options. Once you decided, which another word, you committed, right? So then you do whatever it takes. So this is why we always talk about the 5 level of commitment, right? The highest level is I'll do whatever it takes, of course with legal, moral, integrity bound, right. But you commit. I think that is the word, like you decide. I think most people, that's why they cannot commit, right, to anything that, anything require that you can see fruits, you can see beauty, you can see results. Is all the result of commitment, right? So that's why we always love to say this quote, right, that never underestimate a few committed people, that can change the world. So like we always say, it's never say a few rich people, smart people, few powerful people, but few committed people. So I think what I hear you say is that you have the turning point is that you have decided to commit, right? I think that was the turning point. In fact, hearing that whole journey, I also relate, the three voices we talk about in leadership: the chatting voice, the caring voice, and the challenge voice. And actually, it went through. And I think people always, either they are good in one, or if all three of them, there's none, then I don't think it's a leader, right? So at least some leaders are very good in this. They are very good in either caring voice, they're very caring for people, or there are some very good in challenging voice, right? They challenge, right? Some probably good in chatting voice, they set the path for people. But to juggle all three of them is definitely an art and science, right? So I think what I hear, that's why I felt all these three voices play a part, because started with really caring voice, right? I care for you, I come to meet you, and then knowing you without a direction, that time I chat for you, right? It's a chatting voice. But of course, imagine I just keep carrying, chatting, right? Chatting, I mean, how many times you can chat, right? It's just one direction, right? One plan. And every 2 years, every 1 year, we just review the plan again. So there's a chatting voice. So then I was carrying, I mean, how long can you care if the person don't commit and don't decide, right? So I think the right time, the ultimatum is serve as a challenge voice, right? I think if without that challenge voice, I don't think it will be where you are today as well. So I felt that having the right time, having a challenging voice is also very important. Of course, overly skewed to one voice, I also think it's not good. Of course, I see leader, people are so good in carrying voice. Yeah, people are so cared for, and it will reach to a point that the recipient may come to, we call it entitlement. Or ungrateful, right? So as sometimes it's not the problem of that person, it's also the leader, because it's your result, right? The people that you lead. So why this person becomes so entitled? Because you only care. There's no challenging voice in their life, right? So that's why I think having a three voices combination of that in the right time is very important. Some leaders they are very good in challenging voice, and they only, like I say, skew toward one area. They are very strong in challenging voice. There's no carrying voice, there's no chatting voice. Guess what? You will also create result. But the problem is the people that you lead will hate you. And in their mind, one day I will come and open another business next to you or competitor. I will revenge, because they don't know that you actually care, or maybe you actually don't, right? So we really don't know. That's why people say, "Oh, actually I care." That's why we always say that. In fact, in one of our sport, in my sport team, one of our core value, I say verbalize team spirit, right? So you need to say it, right? So that's why when they say means they must hear that voice of caring. Don't think I know lah. I mean, they will know I care for them. No, I say you must say it out, right? Chatting voice, caring voice, and challenging voice. This, I mean, first thing I hear that. But with this, even the leader do so well in these three voices. But the one who being led, or even the follower must able to take one C also, which is commit. Right? If you don't commit, no matter how good is the voice, I mean, no choice. I think nothing works. But I think what I hear is that you, at that point, you decide to commit. That's one thing I hear. In fact, the second thing I hear was the journey of. You're saying you enjoy the session, right? I think same. I think in 10x, over even now 10 years past, right? Everyone will say, "Oh, if I don't need to do all this commitment, if I don't need to have a client and all that, I would love to stay in 10x, right?" Say, of course, who the one, right?
I think 10x, if another business model, right? We are very good exclusive social club. For entrepreneurs only. I mean,
In fact, saying that, it also reflect back when we were in a business partnership. I still remember one project we handled together. I mean, we worked on this project, and the project actually is supposed to be very profitable. I still remember the project is supposed to be 1 year. And we complete in 1 year. So we went to and this at X amount, right? If my mistake was 250,000 or 300,000, I forgot it's the X amount. Then I went to the client, we did a closing review. I mean the project completion review. So I asked the client then we list down all the previous when we set up what's the objective, what is the problem that we're solving, and then the scope, the mandates, the progress, the journey, and then the completion with one proper filing, the soft copy, hard copy giving to the client, the handover. And I still remember we asked the client, how do you rate our journey? How satisfied are you, or how was the project for you? So I still remember he said, because you were introduced by a client, in fact, Hao Chun was the one to introduce. He said, because you're introduced by Hao Chun, and he also give you high regards. So I expect this to be good. But what I didn't expect was so good. So I said, okay. So yeah. But you know what? This is not, of course, most people are very happy already, right? Then ask for next project or whatever. But I remember my answer was, it's not good enough. It can be better.
wow.
And we continue work on another half a year or 1 year without asking for extra fee. So it's supposed to be very profitable. And it ended up become, I think, losses or break even. But the client ended up grow very well. It's from one start, almost like a new, not startup, but from a new venture, a new direction, grow from probably 0 to 30, 40, 50 million. But for us, it became a break-even project or a bit losses, I forgot. So then I still remember you're also quite frustrated as a partner, business partner. You say, 你应该去教书啦。I mean, you should be in education business. I mean, if you take it as you educate people, because I like to teach, I like to equip people, I like to educate them. So you say you should be in that business, then you'll be very profitable, right? But for in the consulting business like that, and it's not wise lah. I mean, looking back, they are so happy with him. We should ask for the next project, right? Still can charge. I'm sure he's very happy to pay for the next phase of the project. But I do it for FOC, right? So. And true enough, right? Why I'm sharing that, looking back now, correct? We are in the education business, coaching business. That's why we can make money.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean that was remember. So anyway, I was just hearing that what you point about the enjoy. So we say, yeah, people actually enjoy in 10x. But of course, they say, oh, if I don't need to get a client, that's why I always tell them, it's not that we want to push people out. No, I say, if you don't need to get a client, then why don't you be a client? Because all our coaches are entrepreneurs, right? If you don't, the reason we bring you into 10x as a coach to equip you, to empower you, so that you can enrich others, so that you can touch life and touch business and transform business and life. But if you're coming in just to learn, then why don't you be a client? Just get a coach to coach you, right? So that's why it actually linked that what you say is the taker and giver, right? So if you just want to come and I'm okay for taking. We always say, right, taking and giving is like breathing. We're okay for you to take, breathe in. It's okay for you to give and breathe out and in and out, in and out. But you cannot just take, right? It's not good for you. You will die. That's why not that I want to get you out, because I've told it's not good for you as well. We must be a generous giver and also excellent receiver, right? Both way. So that's why actually just now when you say equip. To me, the enjoy part is actually people who enjoy being equipped, right? So they enjoy being equipped, they enjoy the environment. But I say there will be a point that you need to embark, right? You need to go on to the journey and go embark on the journey to transform others' life, right? Then perhaps the goal is to enrich others' life. And eventually you empower others to do the same. And the cycle goes on, right? So you get equipped, you must embark on the journey, and then you go and enrich people and you empower others to do the same. And that only can go on, right? So I think that's another thing I hear.
Maybe. Yeah. So maybe I just add on, it's like why, this is my observation, right? Why a lot of people like to be in the 10x community, especially during early days, right? When we enroll coaches and potential coaches, everything, there's a lot of people just, most of them definitely they have crossed paths with you. That's why they're here. Either they are your client, either you met them in different classes and everything. I mean, you just make your presence known everywhere, right? Now we're in this journey of growing our personal IP. I think that time you're already doing that. It's not online, but physically you just go attend. So that's where you create impact in people's life. That's where people remember you and willing to come and explore. That season we have a lot. But then when we look back to how many clients we have, so many coaches. How come client only this few, and it's only these few coaches that are coaching clients? So they realize that something is wrong somewhere. That's when the management change a bit of the rules of the games and what are the different criteria we expect. And true enough, as you mentioned, if you really just enjoy the community, why not just be a client rather than coming here, wanting to be a coach? I say that is because why is this place so enjoyable? It's because of the leader. Because we always, 10x, we always say this, right? Everything rises and falls based on the leadership, right? It's on leadership. And if a leader is the one that sets the tone of the organization, I truly believe that it is you who set this place to make it like that. Because I don't think you want to work in a place that's just tense and like an army camp like that. So when you make it like that, learning, enjoying, giving, playing, that's just the nature of who you are. If I can sum it up together, and you are also another person that cannot just stay put and just doing the same thing over and over again. Looking back, me last time, I think I can. That's why for so many years. But you cannot. You just learn one thing already. You got to progress. You always seek progress, and that's how the organization is. The heart of who you are has been transferred and translated through this, and which is why 10x today, the core value, everyone is carrying that. So only then everyone that resonate with this value, they will stay put here. They will find fulfillment here. They will find being nourished here.
Wow. Great. Thanks. Thanks for sharing. I think saying that there's also the goal of how can we institutionalize that or make it a formularized, not just me alone, but of course over the years it's already become like everyone's strength has added to it, but now it's just how can we formularize it. Of course, seeing the result, like I say, from a few clients, now we have 300 clients, and knowing that of course the formula works as we tweak, and that, of course nothing works forever, we just need to continue improving.
Yep.
Just like an operating system, we keep improving that.
Mhm.
We also think back when how do I try to duplicate myself, and now I think is how that the coaches also duplicate themselves. And just like I think just now one thing touched me is that how I actually able to attract so many coaches to be part of the platform. And now actually we come to a stage of I'm 20 years in the industry, 10 years in 10x is, I mean 10x already founded 10 years ago, right? In the whole industry for 20 years. So I think the next season is really not how I able to attract so many more. Of course I'll continue to do that. That is part of my life, right? But how can I equip and empower coaches to also have that same leadership and same type of influence? Maybe the style is different for sure, but it's the same or even bigger impact that they are able to attract more coaches and clients to continue touching their life. I think that is the biggest question that we are exploring. Also, why I'm come to the journey of starting this podcast to really go back and talk to all the coaches as much as I can and clients to really find out what works and we want to double down, triple down, or even 10x that. What doesn't work, we just slowly drop or cut it off, right? So just again commit and decide on what works.
Right.
So yeah, I think great. I think one more thing I hear just now in even this conversation was preparation. In fact, that is one of our really philosophy. I mean, what you hear is that you prepare 4 hours for a 30-second introduction, 240 minutes, right? So you prepare for 4 hours, divide by 30. So it's 8 minutes per second of preparation, right? So it's 1 second you prepare for 8 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
if we really, when I look at not only our coaches, even client, 70% of the success or the outcome is really determined by the preparation, right? So I always say this, people ask me, even presentation, public speaking, or even doing a workshop, doing a equipping session or doing a coaching session. To me, 70% of the success is preparation. 30% is on the day performance.
Right.
Some people don't prepare. Okay, I mean, I can just perform on stage. I mean, just perform on the go, or even sports, right? People say, I'm a tournament player. When I go to tournament, I'm naturally perform one.
Right.
Yeah, once in a while, maybe. I don't want to leave it to chance, right? So, and of course, we take it very seriously because it's their business and life, So we don't take it lightly. We cannot say by chance it happens. So preparation, I says, if imagine you don't prepare, and even on that day you perform at your very best, you are world class on the day performance, max 30, you still fail. I mean, we take a Malaysia education, 40 is pass lah.
Yeah.
So if let's say 40 is passing mark, of course, in 10x our standard is very high lah, right? 70 passing mark, right? And 80 there's a 80 and above is a distinction, then 90 and above is a high distinction, right? So of course I won't say the standard so low, our standard is 70,
Right.
but even we take it as a generally, right? Everyone in everyone's eye, 40 is pass. Means that on the day if you perform even to your best of the best is 30, you still fail, right? Or worst case, not worst case lah, but in the usual term, you don't perform at your tip-top condition, right? Maybe you are in 20, it's even worse, right? But imagine if you prepare so well, not even 70, let's say you prepare well enough, let's say 50, and on the day you perform 10,
Right.
you still pass and doing okay. Of course, in 10x standard still fail lah.
Right.
But let's say you prepare very well 50, and on the day you perform 20, then in 70 you pass. I mean, and in the general eye is A already. In our 10x standard is pass, but in the general standard is already a A, right? So that is the difference. So I say preparation is so important. So that's why it's the same speech I've been delivering for so many years, like 10 things that will change your life, right? 10, or even one-page business strategy, or our whatever tools that I've done so many times, I still prepare. But of course, I don't take so long, like let's say 8 hours, 12 hours, but maybe lesser time, 1 hour, half an hour. At least I just go through applying the context of this client.
Right.
How is it like? So that's why I hear preparation is really the key to success. Also, like you see, like a lot of CEO that they see that they perform very well. At least a few one that I work with personally on the stage, wow, suddenly everyone like think, wow, this is stunning. This is so wow, he's so natural. I mean, he's so good. But actually, the same speech they have prepared, not only prepared the whole script, write the whole thing, and rehearse for 10, 20 times before they actually deliver that.
Right.
So even I have one now is probably at least 20, 30 richest right in Malaysia. Their company is multi-billion. Now people say, wow, he's very good networking, right? People want to know him. But when he first started off, I remember I sit down with him in the house and right now, even she shared it to a friend and say, you know, when I first go out, when I meet people, he's still thinking, when should I take out my name card? When is the right time I should give my name card, you know? So but of course, you go back, we sit down, we realize, okay, what should the question that I ask? Maybe you should ask them first. Okay, we put down in the Excel that time, right? Hi, my name is who? What do you do? Ask people first because it's always good to ask people. Then when you ask them, then how do you explain your business in that one line? So you say, okay, we describe how is the best way to tell them what I do, and then what's next, and then after that, you know what to talk how. Okay, ask them weekend, what do they do on weekends, right? Then they have another more personal conversation.
Right.
Then after that, if nothing to talk, just shake hand and leave. Don't stay there. It's very weird, right? But always have that time still give a lot of physical name card. So you see, always write down 1, 2 key things that they say in their name cards. So that act itself make you like really interested, right? And you go back, always get your PA to write something to them.
right.
So and it's rehearsed, you know. Hi, then it was rehearsed so many times. Then when it come to the really networking, it feels very natural. But actually, he prepared, right? He prepared so well, and then people never thought, oh yeah, I thought it's very natural. No, it's still preparation. So yeah,
True. Like, I mean, just on top of that, a lot of sportsmen, as you mentioned, sportsmen, CEOs, even artists, right? All those that are top performing and still there for long years, right? You should see behind the scene all the hard work that they put in behind the scene. Of course, of late we talk about Eileen Gu, the free skier, right? So why is she that? It's not that she's born with a talent or whatever. Maybe she's born with more inclined towards that sport, but it is the hard work behind it that she practiced. And not only that, because sometimes I follow her about she breaking through her own mindset. Yeah, she's a person that reflects on her life daily. So that's something that I pick up from her interviews and everything. She say every day she'll go back and do reflection. I think these are the things that we tend to neglect. Yeah, I never learned how to reflect until I joined 10X. And you mentioned to me that some of your clients every day take out the John 10:10 to reflect. To that extent, why then last time I said I couldn't understand why do we need to reflect. Wow, but reflection is so crucial for us to know what happened through the whole day, what decision we make through the whole day that cause a certain consequence or result, right? That's where we can make a decision. Is this something that I want to repeat, or is this something that I want to change? Yeah, so without reflecting, right, the next day you forget already. So it's crucial to have this kind of mindset. And having said that, it is all these top leaders, right? They constantly do this and constantly put so much effort behind the scene where people don't see. People see you on stage very natural, but I'm sure you have been telling us many times, Joshua, actually you put a lot of hard work. You go those days, BNI, when you told them about you joining the BNI, early morning, you're a late person that time. But early morning, you still make the commitment to go for BNI. You go for Toastmasters. These are the things that you make the commitment because you want to transform. I think that's a key thing. Like, I just want to be a better speaker. I want to be this. I want to be that. And it's not just saying only. You really put in an effort, and people don't see that in the early. People who know you, of course, they know how much effort you put in. So, I don't believe that things are just born natural. I believe that people that you think they are born natural is because the environment that they're in trains them daily to become that. It is a discipline that make them who they are today. Nothing comes in just pop like that. It just happened. Yeah. I even seen musicians. I have a lot of circle that are just musicians, right? And they see their kid, oh, your kids are so talented, didn't go to music school already, so good. But what you didn't see is the kid, when the father was practicing, the kid was next to the father and practiced since young. That's why they pick up every single thing that the father was practicing. And when they are about teenager, they go up. Wow. People say, wow, you're natural. Actually, from young, they started practicing already. So it is, there's no shortcut to this.
Yeah.
Right.
Good. I think you just want to, I think why we want to delve deep, because I also want to keep emphasizing the point of preparation
Right.
and practice is really, I think that is what we also very believe in a lot, because that is also linked back to our business philosophy of the power of fundamental.
Right.
All those are fundamental, right? You just keep doing the same thing, but and improve. I think just now we talked about the word reflect. In fact, the reflection is so important. Why? Because without reflect, your whole life is reacting, right? Without reflection, it's only reaction, right? But with reflection, you can respond,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So, and then what's the difference between react and respond? So I say react is when something happened you have not happened before to your life, you just react, and you always regret to your reaction, or I should have done this better. I'm sure, but you know, some people their whole life is reaction, and you just react to everything because they don't reflect. So even if they happen already, then what you responded. That's why I always like to ask this question during our meeting, right? Last time during the brief, I always ask, if you were to do it again, how would you do it differently?
Right.
In fact, if you can answer that question, the next time it happened, you will respond. You will respond with that what you have said. But if not, you will say the same thing over and over and over. You will keep repeating, right? You will not stop repeating the same
Yep.
thing.
Agreed.
So, and also, of course, is always we are in this season of this year of awakening, right? I also keep mentioning, I also anchor on this. Do you want to live a life by default or a life by design? Do you want to run a business by default, or you want to run a business by design?
Right.
Right? Of course, everything that is excellence is by design, right? Everything that is disaster is by default, right? So it's really you choose the life that you want, you choose the business you want, how you want to design the culture to be. If you live it by default, I mean, even I got one funny story. Not funny story, it's a story lah. It's a real story. One day I see my friend having the mustache and the beard, and it really looked messy. It looked without better word, a beggar lah, right? So I said, why you like that? Why you leave it like that? So he said, the time he said this is a trend. He said it's a trend. They call it, know what word is that already? But he benchmarked David Beckham. So Beckham was that. That was the benchmark looking. I said, oh, he said, do you know how much time he spent on doing his mustache every day? I think the time was half an hour or whatever. I forgot. So it means that he designed that to look messy. But he leave it by default and it's really like messy, right? So I say, come on, people, you think it's she's like, don't care, and he leave it like that. And I forgot what look already. The time remember got one beggar in China, then dressed up very well. That look like is like very
grunge. No, not grungy look.
It's I don't know, but that doesn't matter. But in my main point is this: he thought Beckham is like that. It's like he by default, right? Don't care, and then it look like that. Actually, people design so they look like didn't care. It's funny. His one really didn't care. I say he looked like a superstar. You look like a beggar. I said that's the difference, right? And people design it, not leave it like just ignore. So anyway, that is in business, in life, even in small little thing, is all. Everything is by design, right? So in fact, I end with this part. I mean, this on this section, this part of design. Everything happen in this world is by design. I mean, all the way from our life, right? I mean, as how we born. If you talk to scientists, doctor, and all that, you find how crazy is our human life is formed, right? One slight 0.1 wrong, our whole human life doesn't make sense anymore, right? So that's definitely by design, right? And everything else, everything you see in this world, your mic, your cup, remarkable. Everything they always happen 3 times. First must started in the mind of someone. Sure, right? I mean, if I don't have this screen, this size, this shape, this thing, it's sure by someone who actually started to have this in their mind first.
Right.
Then second is on the design, is on the blueprint, right? The engineer, they need to draw it out, they need to capture it out, video, whatever, but they need to design it. And after that is execution. Then someone has produced it to make it like that.
Right.
So for sure, anything, any shape, any light you see in this world, you just open your eyes. Someone should have first conceived the idea and design in his mind, and then on paper, or by the way, we call it blueprint, website, whatever. I mean, laptop, whatever software, but on the mind and the paper and in the world, right? So, and it's all by design, right? So it is nothing by default. No suddenly, bomb, this thing bomb, and then it's look like that.
Yeah.
It cannot be lah, right? So, and some more we are just talking about outlook. What about the engineering inside, right?
Exactly.
Everything is by design. So that's why we want to encourage people. I will go even the extreme. Life by default is really not worth living, right? So, but life by design is the life that you want to pursue, right? Knowing your purpose, knowing your vision very clear, why you are born in this world, and design a life towards that. In fact, that's why we do John 10:10 Life, right? It's really your legacy, your horizon, your goal, and then your monthly, weekly, daily. That is, of course, again, don't be extreme. The context is that I'm not asking you must be 100% follow your plan. That is also to me too boring already, right? So it's also finding intersection. Sometimes you know that I'm doing this, but knowing that I'm play games. I know that this will not lead me to the goal that I want, but it's actually fun. I mean, I relax, I enjoy it. There's definitely one part of life that should be at the play and relaxation. That's why we also design this category. So nothing, I'm not asking everything 100% by design. That is too much, but finding the intersection, that is what we want to find, right? Just like designing, and then all that thing also lead back to business. When you design a business system, imagine a business without system, totally chaos.
Yep.
Imagine a business with everything in system, 100%. It will be too tight and it strangulate the business. It cannot grow, it will die. So the key is finding the intersection, right? And again, the intersection is your wisdom, right? When they grow, when they be less and then tighter. And I always say, what got you here won't get you there. In fact, you can grow to 0 to 1 million, 1 to 10 million, 10 to 100 million, 100 to 1 billion, 1 billion, 10 billion and beyond. Sometimes because from 1 to 10 million, it's because you build a very strong system. That's why, and very tight, tight enough. That's why it actually reached there. But for it to grow to the 100 million, you thought it's tighter the system, because this works, right? I keep tightening it. Actually, it will kill the business. In fact, you need to unlock and untight certain system to allow it to scale to a different level, right? So, but that's why we say what got you here won't get you there, right? So you just need to see it is, yes, it's also by design. So you are the designer that can only bring your design to 10 million, but how do you grow from 10 to 100 million? I think that's another question. Great. Let's jump to the next one. Before you started this, before you started succeeding or doing well, I mean, in your own, everyone have a different definition of doing well, success or succeed. So in your own definition of doing well as a coach, what was the biggest struggle you faced?
Wow. Confidence, I would say. Yeah, because I'm not from this background. I don't go in front of people to teach people. I'm not a guru in that sort. I come from a point of view, from a point where I have this limiting belief that I'm still in the valley. I must acknowledge that, there's always this voice that haunts me. Who are you to coach them? Right? Are you better than them in terms of probably the size of the company? Probably in terms of the quality of the service? Probably in the knowledge. Are you better than Joycia? You get this kind of doubt coming in and just constantly limit yourself. So I think that was the biggest struggle. Every day before I go out to coach, I would really need to, I wouldn't say, reverse cycle myself, but it's more like I need to make sure that this will not live with me out. When I leave the house, these kind of thoughts will not stay. If not, it's going to affect my whole day. It's going to affect my coaching and everything.
How do you do that? Because I think I just want to anchor this, because this is really very common to all coaches, and I mean, we call it the imposter syndrome, right? So it's, I mean, you'll be surprised. People say, who am I to coach? My business is only like few million.
Right.
But I also meet a business owner with 300 million business, and he say, who am I to coach? I'm good in my business, but who am I to coach others? Then they're on another 100 over million revenue, their own business, and they say, who am I to coach? I can grow my business, but who am I to coach others? So what I'm trying to say is that definitely the revenue is not the matter, right? Because you can reach until that size, you also feel that you are not good enough, right? You can be yeah, probably this is real. So how do you overcome that?
I think you always taught us empowering beliefs. The one way for you to break your limiting beliefs is declaring your empowering beliefs. So every day without fail, I would just do empowering beliefs. Even up to today, I'm still doing that, and I begin to declare who I am. Some of it I'm still in work in progress, but I begin to declare that person, that future me. So as I begin to declare that, my mind begin to shift. My mind no longer focus on my lack, no longer focus on my weakness. Actually, to be frank, if I work few steps back, right, why am I so affected by my lack, my weakness, everything? It's more so, I would say, my ego. This I'm concerned of how people view me. I'm concerned of how people what do you call it? Give a report card to me, how they judge me. I mean, even working almost 50 years of my life today, next year 50 already.
Wow.
Right? Okay.
祝你福如東海，壽比南山。
Thank you. Claim it. So it is about our
Ego.
yeah, we care about how people view us. We care about our face, our ego. Yeah. That's why we don't like to look bad in front of people. So that's the thing that caused me to always have this concern. But when I begin to not be bothered by that, begin to declare who I am, begin to, as you mentioned, life is designed. So when I have the blueprint out already, I begin to design that. If I want to be such a person, if I want to be a person that constantly add value, then I better learn this part. I better start to read. I better start to, as I read, I begin to start to teach, right? You learn by doing, you grow by teaching. This is the things that begin to apply. I don't care what people are going to say, if wrong. That time I was so concerned. People say, hey, you use a wrong business term. I even have this kind of thoughts, hey, Kevin, don't say anything because people will know you use the wrong business term in my head. So I have to reject all that and then begin just to do it. It's okay. It's okay to not be perfect because client doesn't need you to be perfect.
Yeah.
Client just want you to help them to be clear. This is our role as coach, right? If we are able to help our client to find clarity, it's a win for them already. The reason why they hire us as a coach is so that I get a confirmation, I get a clarity. I don't need to do this alone. Sometimes it's just that they are not here. They don't want us to go there and give them whole set of solution and formula. They want they can buy elsewhere. Yeah. So it is really true that along the way I begin to pick myself, hey, I don't need to be perfect. I can fumble in my English, my grammar may not be perfect, my Mandarin may not be perfect. Wow, talk about Mandarin. That was looking back, I was like, wow, I didn't know that I can speak in Mandarin or coach in Mandarin. But all this, if I had my own limiting belief, I care about how people look at me, won't work already. Yeah.
Wow, good. I think hearing that, I think the biggest struggle is really, when I say confident, I think confident is just, is really very surface level one. And what is beneath the confident, it was the limiting belief
Correct.
that is holding you back, right? So of course, like I hear you say, and really people, I think not only, but of course that's real. It's not like it's because we always say, oh, fear is a false evidence appearing real. But I think this is actually real because there is client who ask also, who are you to coach me, right? We also
Right.
have coaches who face the
Right.
client who ask, who are you to coach me, right? So it's real. Of course we also need to have an answer for that, right? I mean, that is, of course, probably that is also not our right client,
Right.
Because we have a very clear set of criteria who we want
Right.
to work with. They
Yeah.
first must be coachable.
All right.
Of course, also depending on the tone they ask,
Right.
right? If they say, who are you to coach me?
Yeah.
I mean, that is definitely not the right person that we want to talk to. But they say, I just want to understand how are you able to help me? And so you see, you can hear from their tone whether they are actually coachable or they are having a high ego and they are open to coach. So, but of course, your answer to that is declaration, right? Is having an empowering belief, right? Because the only way to fight the negative is with positive, right?
Right.
So I don't know, but mass negative is positive one. I don't know how it works, but I think in this context for sure is you need to fight the negative with a positive. And
Exactly.
if I were to give a very short 1 minute briefing to a coach or a CEO or speaker before they go on stage to deliver a speech. Of course, all the preparation is done, right? So I always remind them one thing, because the only thing that make them fumble or stumble or fall or blank on stage to me, only one reason. Besides all the sickness and all the, mentally, there's only one. They focus in.
Yep.
So we ask them to focus out.
Mm.
I always remind them, focus out. What does it mean? Focusing means that, very simple, it's about me.
Yeah.
How will I perform later?
Yeah.
Do I dress well? Is my hair okay? Is my spec okay? How do I walk? What do I speak? What if I did? So it's all about yourself.
Alright.
Focus out is all about others. It's all about them. So we talk, and how the way to focus out is recite your PDD, right?
Right.
Recite your purpose, why I'm doing it. Because that time you no time to read all the DD, but you can read the P purpose, why I'm doing it. And I always remember myself, even one life change is worth it. Even one business start is worth it. So the energy is very different. So when you go on stage, you are not caring about how they speak, and you are really looking at people and tell them, you really want to impact them. The way, the energy and the focus, people can feel it, and the tone, right? At that time, it's no longer about the right words, the pause filler, the space. Of course, all those are important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying technical is not important. But at that time, you cannot improve there and then already, right? It's all preparation.
Right.
So with all preparation done, it's all about focusing out.
Right.
So I think even when coaching is the same. If you're focusing, is that you will focus, how did I perform? How was my session? Is it impressive? Is it good? But focus out is, I just want you to win. What really works for you? What's your biggest challenge, right? And how can this really help your business? So when you're focusing out, the client can feel it. I say the biggest value for us is really, you have someone that really all out want you to win. You have a coach who really stand for you, have, of course, well equipped as well, well prepared, but really want you to win. It's not about me, it's really about you.
Last time you mentioned, even in your consulting time, client already say so good, and yet you say not good enough. I think your focus wasn't about, see, I performed, I did so well for you, but you are so much about, I can still add more value to you. You can still do better. Your brand can still do better. That's why you are not satisfied with that. You just want to continue to add more value. So that's just, your mind has already been in that focusing about adding the most value to that person. I think that's something that really, along the way, all of us in 10X, we picked up. If not, we always play just enough. But yours is next level. How can I help them to reach their optimum, their best? That kind of mindset takes, I can only say one thing, a generous giver mindset. If a person is so about hoarding or care about themselves, or whether you say looking in, focusing in, most of the time we just do just enough, and all the glory goes to ourselves, and that's it. Life goes on and stuff like that. But when we don't care about ourselves, but we care about the good of the other person, the other party, our clients, our family, or whoever, you never care about, I'm just, even if I have a top up money, I'm still going to do it because I know this is going to benefit you. So as you mentioned, focusing out. I would say how a person or how a coach would need to see breakthrough in the client side, when we are able to see life or experience life in such a way where we are there, how can we help them to be at their best and optimum? I don't know. There's a formula to it, but formula itself cannot change unless they go through the process. Being transformed, being generous. I think that's one part that I encountered when you challenged me the second time.
Okay, so just now we were saying about the focus out and focus in, right? So in fact, you say, sometimes it's about ego, how people see us. So I want to have two principles of seeing this focus in and focus out. One is actually the leader standard. If you can live a life that with that standard as a leader is very, very good, right? Of course, I'm also not there. I'm still doing my best. Is really live a life, nothing to prove, nothing to lose, and nothing to hide. Of course, it's not easy. How do you live a life there's nothing to prove? I don't need to prove to everyone. I have and live a life there's nothing to lose, right? I'm just doing this. Is nothing to lose for me and nothing to hide, right? Live a life of being transparent. In fact, it's not about age, I have met CEOs at their 60s and they're still trying to prove, right? To I don't know who they're trying to prove. And you will be, of course, very obvious is that sometimes it's the board or the owner, right, or they themselves, they also trying to prove, right? To the market, to the competitor, to the world, right? So, and sometimes you will be surprised that they are trying to prove to themselves, their younger self, that something leave a void in their life, and they know that they make a inner vow or declaration that I should not be like that, and I want to be like that, and it's is proving to themselves, right? And that is the very, very challenging, right? So I say living a life there's nothing to prove is very hard, right? And nothing to lose. Again, most people could be real, it could be fake, right? It's that they feel that there's so much to lose that actually they may not be so much to lose, or it could be, again, one is real, one is fake, one is but many times it's a choice, right? Why they have so much to lose? Because maybe their lifestyle is very high. They need to have a high maintenance of their life. It's a choice, right?
Right.
And of course, nothing to hide. It's also a choice. Living a life was transparent. How can you be transparent? Not be having one face on stage, one face off stage, one face in the world, one face at home. So, trying to be an integrated life and integrated self, that I am who I am wherever I am, right? Of course, again, with context, I'm not saying that you express everything, but just trying to be one person, right? Not being have a multiple different multiple different behavior or style, wherever you are. That is one. I think, of course, the answer to that is, to me, of course, I cannot speak for everyone. Again, I'm also not there. I'm just on the journey there. But I think it's a worthwhile direction to pursue as a leader, right? Nothing to prove. To me, is really having, and the thing to overcome that is that really ask yourself, who are you trying to prove to, or who you want to be that proof, right? So, and we are human. No matter how influential you are or whatever you are, you're actually wanting to prove, right? So I think knowing who to prove to is very important as well. I think, of course, for us, for me as a Christian, proving to God is important, right? Living a life that pleasing to God. I think there's definitely one person or one God that I want to prove to. I think it's fine. I mean, that is one area. And of course, people that who love me and I love, right? My wife, my children, my close friend, my family. I think I cannot run away from that. So the way I do that is that we have the culture of PAN, right? Praise, encourage, nurture.
Right.
And every year during the person's birthday, we will PAN the person. Of course, with my wife, it's every different occasion, or every now and then when I feel like it, I will do that as well, right? But really official with holding hand, looking at each other with music is on occasion. So, but I do that for my, of course, with my family, with my friends, with my with my even a close business community, right? Like my gender accountability group. I always tell them, you have no idea how impactful this is to me, and
Right.
how meaningful and purposeful it is to me. Because, like, for example, of course, don't even mention about wives and children. Is so powerful because all we want is to really make them proud, right? And our parents. So even in the industry, you look for people that, like in my John Denton Accountability group, of course, there's Hao Chun, Sissy, of course, the wife, Celine, Lai Yi, and my wife, my six of us couple. And every year my birthday, they will give me pen, right? And of course I'll give them as well. But for me, they are not just a close friend, but they also represent the two very different category of entrepreneurs in the market, right? One, of course, Sissy is Faruni, and one business, Tao, and went very, very deep and do so well. That's represent one category of entrepreneur.
Right.
Of course, the other group, Hao Chun, a conglomerate, multiple listed company, that's represent another group of entrepreneur. So to me, when they give me an acknowledgement, it actually represented the whole group. So then it's enough for me already. I say I don't need more approval to prove, right? Then my wife, right? My kids, my close friend, my colleague, right? My in 10x, people give me pen, and then my close friend, my 10K, right? Give me pen. And with all this, and every year I recorded that. That's why I always ask people to record it, right? So when you hear, maybe it's emotion, you may not hear clearly, but every year I won't listen to everything again, but at least once a year I will listen to the whole year, the pen session. And of course, it serves as a rainy day when I need to listen, when I'm down. I always listen back, right, to encourage myself, right? So I think with that, it actually reduced my needs to be proved, right? To be proven, or nothing to prove, right? With that, I already prove. I mean, I don't need really, when I go out to the market, I really do focus out and want that between. I don't need you to give me approval anymore. I really have this proof to and acknowledged and encouraged and accepted by all the people that matter to me, right? Did I always say this, right? Focus on what matter and who matter. The rest doesn't matter. So those are people matter to me. So I have an environment for them and a way for them to receive. And of course, I give as well, right? During their birthday. And it's not easy for my close friend, the 10K friend. When I first introduced this, it's like very weird for them. They say, hey, what is that? And have one of them is like, it's full of tattoo, right? The ex Taiko. So today is like, ew, what are you trying to do, right? What, I want to, like, I don't know, feel like seeing him like want to whack me and that, right? But after a while, 10 years now, he said, oh, you know what? This is the session that I'm most looking forward to every year for his birthday, lah, right? Because it's like a report card from a friend, right? How do you see me this year, right? So, and that is living a life with nothing to prove, right? Nothing to lose. I think it's very simple. It's really a lifestyle, right? You choose a lifestyle that is not. Of course, I'm not asking you to live very. Yeah, you should be prudent, but no need to overnight. Again, nothing extreme, right? Fine in this section. As you grow, you can continue to improve your lifestyle, but don't increase in such a way that you give you so much burden that you have to say. I don't say. Don't make a decision of lifestyle until the point you say I have no choice. This is the really not a good situation to be in. You always have a choice, right? Don't say that, oh, I have no choice. I have to do this. I have to do this. That's why you cannot say you have nothing to lose because you have to, right? So, but when you decide, you have a wide decision on a lifestyle and you can have a choice, that is powerful. I think when you can create option and choice in your life, that I can choose to do this or choose not to do that, I think that is very powerful. That's when you can truly say that I have nothing to lose. I don't need to do this, but I choose to do this, right? And then of course, I get to do this, right? It's a blessing. So that, of course, I don't say day one you can do that, but you must move toward the direction. For last but not nothing to hide, it's really a choice. How open, just like I talked in the first question we asked, right? How open or close, and you decide to how transparent you are. Again, is by level, right? I'm not asking you to open to everyone, but like when I first started the company 10x, I already make it a being accountable. I have a board, right? Internal board that I open for accountability, right? Even the LT can also ask and check my can look at the finance number per P&L. Everything is transparent. Even my life, right? I try to as much as I can. I try to be open and I invite different person at different voice of being accountable in my different area of life, right? Everyone can speak into my life. I mean, not everyone. The one that I decide to, the voice that I decide in my life, they are able to come into speak in my life, and I try to be as transparent as possible. To me, that's one standard I felt the leaders should move towards that, right? Nothing to prove, nothing to lose, nothing to hide. It's a very good standard to so that we can focus out, right? And the other side of the principle, that one is more casual and more casual principle, which I felt is very real, very insightful. People buy things they don't need with the money they don't have to impress the people they don't care. Wow, I mean, when I first heard this, so true, man. It's like so real. Like people with the money they don't have, that's why they get loan, they get credit card, that and all that, and go to the place, I mean, travel to impress people they don't care, right? And the people that really care, they don't need you to impress them, right? So, that's why I say this is two different principles on looking and how do you focus out, right? If you truly want to focus out, that is the two things that you really put in mind. Very early in my career, I am grateful to meet with that mentor that have giving you a perspective that saved you so many years of banging wall, right? Of course, my mentor, a lot of people know my career mentor is Katik. So I still remember he told me, he said in beginning of his career, because he was also a consulting strategist, so he said his focus is to impress. So, but he said later stage of his career, second half of his career, his goal is just to be useful. Right? My goal is not to be impressed, but to be useful, right? To use whatever he shares, he has to be useful for the person. So, again, what he said is also in and out, right?
Correct.
To impress is to focus in. I want to impress you, but to be useful is focus out. How can I be useful for you, right? So that's why our principle of simple and practical is also grounded in this. Our goal is not to be very stunning, very impressive, but it's to be simple and practical. And simple means easy to understand. Practical means easy to apply, right? Both must be in place, right? So I think that is just sharing how the focus in and focus out.
Think that you challenged me that time. So after being awarded Scotty 2020, I remember the next thing you asked me was time to lead a team. And I think my short response was, I'm not ready. I want to focus on me, continue to be better, blah, blah, blah. And I think that was a time where I can't remember the exact word that you mentioned, but to me, you were saying that I'm just focusing. Why am I still focusing? You already have breakthrough. How many more breakthroughs you want to have? Because now the platforms, we need to grow. We need people to lead already. And who is more qualified that time, that I was Scotty 2020 already. Who is more qualified to lead than that? So I guess that time I was not to say I'm trying to be selfish, but it's more so that I'm still think I need to impress people, as you mentioned that word. I still need to achieve more things before I can lead a team, before I am, in other people's eyes, qualified to lead a team. I think I'm more concerned of that. So, but of course, when we put all the 10x framework, 10x principles into perspective, we are not just a taker. It's time to give. Then okay, that's one of it. Another thing is, what else you want to prove? As mentioned, you want to be better, want to be better. You're already on the way. You're already from someone who don't know how to coach, now already coaching, already a pilot. That time we didn't use the word pilot, but already have it's a 10x. Then yeah, to me, I reflect that I thought I was in the right to say that I want to improve myself, but no. And I realized that I actually, the reason why I do not want to take on a team, because I'm still insecure. Insecure what? Insecure what people say about me. So again, it's back to me focusing on myself. I'm still trying to impress rather than making an impact. A lot of coaches, I'm sure, at least in my team, I know a lot of them also have this challenge. I'm trying to be this, be that, get this award, get that. But it's not so much about their own breakthrough, but it's so much about validation. Yeah, the keyword is validation, people's validation. So I think that's a very dangerous game as a coach, especially, of course, to anyone out there as entrepreneurs as well. If we do business purely or we keep improving on our business, become bigger, doing this, making more money, just purely for the validation of other people, then you are in for a very disaster, I would call it.
Wow.
You are putting a burden on yourself and your team.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a reminder, because when you challenge me, hey, bro, it's time to learn how to give. Because I don't think that you are selfish, want me to become a slave. But you're there that you know that, but the moment that you give, you experience a different breakthrough already. Right? As you mentioned, how much can you take in? You need to breathe out also. If not, you'll suffocate. So when I learned to, and the voice was very important. When I learned to submit to the challenging voice, I say, okay, got it. I don't fully grasp it. I don't fully understand why, because my intention, I can justify a lot of things. I just want to improve. Why you don't let me improve? But actually, behind the improvement, I just want people to say, Kevin, So when I learn to obey and do that, lead a team, it's a different challenge, but it's okay. I learn new things again, and that caused me to be able to grow. So, there's so many elements in just what I've mentioned. When I learn to focus out, I begin to think about how to add value to others again within the team, and no longer about validation from others. Even if I fail, it doesn't matter. I know my worth, and my worth is not from people's validation. Yeah, so that's very crucial as a coach.
Yeah. I think I echo to that. I remember one very well said by Jack Welch. Said, before you are a leader, success is all about yourself. When you are a leader, success is all about others, right? So again, it's both way. Like I said, I think this is so important that all coaches should have a very clear mentality or mindset that you are not there to be validated, right, by the client, or you're not out there to seek approval. If they have this, I think they are not even ready to be a coach, right? Because that's why you see a lot of our coach right now is actually, a big percentage of them is actually from our client. So they are our client and they receive the value, and now they want to take 1 month, a few days to help other entrepreneur. So that is a very, very right perspective, because they're not there to prove anymore, right? I think this work, I really go there to add value. So great. Thank you so much. I think this is a good point. Next part, I want to move to, we always talk about the ABC excellence, right? The attraction excellence, the BSC excellence, the coaching excellence. How do we have the best practices for all coaches? Right? Every coaches have a little bit different of the way they attract clients or doing BSC. There's a system for sure, but their style is different. The principle is the same, but the style very, very different. So just want to understand from you, right? Like, I mean, many of your clients, they themselves are strong entrepreneurs. They are good entrepreneurs, and so that how do they usually find you?
Okay, I would say from the beginning stage, it's all business platforms such as BNI. I know other coaches go for different business platforms. Some go to Vistage, some not Vistage. Some go for PUMM. Some go for Toastmasters, and just different platforms where people that wants to improve, people have leadership mindset. They're all there, okay, and then we're there to add value. So when the intention going there is to begin to add value, people will know your sincerity one. People will feel it, whether you're here to just to push for my sales or you're there to really care about me and add value. So it's but the intention is very crucial. So for me, I think when I was first in BNI, I was just doing business health check, just constantly doing business health check over and over and over again. And I did up to 70, still no client. Yeah, I still remember that time. But somehow people are willing to open up and speak to me, you know. And why? Because I wasn't being calculative, saying that, hey, I've spent too much time with you, I'm not going to do that for you anymore. So it's really us as a human, as a person. Do we go there purely just to see their response? If they, after I do a business health check, they do not respond, then I move on. I don't want to care about this person already. Then if like that, then people know that you have intention, or you just want to close sales or no sales, then you won't, you're trying all. So I think we shouldn't go like that, right? Of course, I'm not saying that we should waste time. We need to be tactful and strategic with our time. We only have limited time. We need to strategic that. But one thing 10x coach I feel should not neglect is that that heart, that 出发点, that intention of adding value, be it life value, business value, doesn't matter. But we need to constantly care for people, as you mentioned. Yeah, so to me, I'm very blessed that a lot of them are willing to open up. So just in BNI itself, I told you that it was about 70 business health check even before close a client.
Just to clarify the facts, if I remember correctly, I think your first client come before all this. I mean, in the 70, you actually have one client, right?
Yes.
And then I think after 70, the 71, 72 only. No.
70
So
client
Vicky
yet.
come after the 70.
Yeah. After 70 was Vicky.
Oh, so the first after the 70. I always think that Vicky already the first 70.
But
then after that, a second, third come.
No. The 70, some of them are repeated because, over,
Okay, just
So in the
70 times.
Yeah, 70 times, yeah. So that time, our PMS system wasn't as like how it is today. So everything we manually recorded everything.
Right.
So why some of them are repeat? Because I ran out of list already, so then I repeat. So that time my constant thing that I hear is like, do other way it takes one. Okay, lor, finish already. How? Repeat, lor. Then follow up with them. And of course, a lot of them see a lot of value, but none of them commit. I think that was that part of it. When the first client came in, that got me excited. It got me to the next phase of this coaching journey. So classes, BNI is one of it. I think that season it was really relevant for us. So and then of course from BNI, the different people they will introduce us to their network.
Right.
So that's also another start for me. So for someone from my background that doesn't have doesn't have intentional business platform to always participate in, right? This is where I find BNI is really relevant for me. So yeah, for coaches who doesn't have a platform, BNI is a good start.
I also realized one pattern, right, or one is actually not only for people who don't have a business network. In fact, you have, but they know you as a video production. Right. So I think one common pattern is that when you already have a very particular identity, or they see you as an interior designer, suddenly you say business coach, is very hard for them to register, right? So it's when you need to reposition yourself or rebrand yourself, then you need to go to a new circle that people don't know what your background, and you come in, introduce yourself as a 10x coach, as a strategy coach. They will see you as a strategy coach. All your previous contact will see you as a
video person.
Right? So I think that was the common challenge. But of course, this is one group of people. The other group of coaches who are entrepreneurs themselves, they also feel challenged because they know that you are in that business, right? If you are renovation, or if you are sound and light, or you already have a certain identity. That's why but they already have a business network. The people that they trust them. So easier is that's why we give them a script to tell them, update them about my current business with their core business, and also tell them, oh, I also joined this business platform that we will add value to entrepreneur. Then they understand clearly it's not their main business, it's something that they want to, a platform they join to add value to others. Then they offer actually a business health check to help the entrepreneur. Then of course they can speak for themselves because they are the client. They receive this before. They say, oh, I've helped my business a lot. I thought it can also add value to you. So they also need to actually introduce their new identity to the current business network. So because not all coaches need to they get contact from business platform. Like for example, Jerome, he don't, right? It's all from his contact, and actually many of them actually from their contact. My question was, what changes, right? You have done so many business. Of course, the system have keep evolving. Now people probably first 10 business check they close one, some 5 close one, some 1 close one, right? So it's like of course the system also keep improving. But in your case, what you were saying that most of them don't commit. What makes that change of the commit? I mean, looking at that, I mean, I always think that there could be two possible reasons. One is not the right client because not that they don't want, they just cannot afford. It's the size. It's really the size that they don't have this extra cash to do it. Or it just they're just not able to see the value, right? So in your case, what make the changes from not committing to commit?
So value definitely there. They receive value from me. If not, I don't think I have the confidence to continue on, for 70. Because every time after we end the business health check, there's always a diamond. What diamond you can complete? Now, my biggest shortfall that time was that I never do my business health check report. So, because it was so raw that we, of course, needless to say, we don't have a system like today. But those days is everything was manual, and I didn't do report at all. And my response to Paul was asking, "Oh, do you do a business health check report?" I think you also asked me about that. I said, "No, what? What's business health check report?" So I was so blur case that time that I just have to admit it. I didn't do the report, and then the moment I did the next health check with the report, that's where I closed. Which was my first client, Vicky, right? So it was mind blowing for me. It's like, oh gosh, I think back, I was like, wow, the past 70, I didn't do a health check report. I don't know how many of it would have. So actually, I went back and visit some of them, and true enough, another one of them actually became client much later, 2 years later. That one initially was a crap because one of the circle, as you mentioned, the identity was I'm a video person, suddenly become a coach. So that particular prospect didn't respect me as a coach. It's just challenging. Oh, my business is 10, every 10, I don't need you. So, but long story short, is 2 years later, he faced a challenge. Then eventually he came back to me and became my client. So I was quite surprised. That one is the crap become a client story. And so it was a business health check report. That's number one. And then number two is also asking the closing question. When I didn't have that confidence that time to even dare to ask that question. When people don't initiate to ask about the price, how much, what's the commitment, I did not go and ask question like, do you think I can help you? Didn't dare to. Why? Because of afraid of rejection.
Right.
So that has to change. When I'm ready to go in and face a no, and then take that no and then work on it, then things start to change. So a lot of times we rather not sell because we're afraid of rejection. At least that's for me lah.
Just like you said, business health check report and then the closing question. Right? At first, I think definitely business health check report is put into a structure. Of course, it's just a tool, right? I think it's another tool to capture the value in deliverables and visible to them. Oh, okay, then they can see it, right? So that's what consultant do, right? Consultant, their deliverables mostly are reports, right? So, but that's one. Of course, we also see a lot of experienced coaches right now. They actually close the client before even the business health check report, right?
correct.
So that's why then my question is, yes, report is definitely one structured and help them to contain and distill the value into one visible form. But what is beyond the report? That why you think that I'm sure they commit, not just because, oh, now I see a report, I commit. There must be something beyond that, right? So what do you see? Even after that, you start to close client even before report and all that. So what do you think is that different that actually help to close that?
I would say it's always hearing. Number one, I help to concise, or rather, we gather their insights, or rather, their problems, and then put it into clarity for them.
Mm.
So, in other words, helping to draw out the insights from them, which entrepreneurs, they always say, I got this problem, I got that problem, I got this, I got that, I got this dream, I got that dream, and it's just going around all that thing, but they cannot put it into a very clarity. Yeah, the keyword is clarity. When we begin to help them to gather, recapture all their thoughts, and then put it into a simple statement, a clarity for them, suddenly they saw, hey, they begin to see that, yeah, you can help me. This coach can help me already. It is that part that always, for my case, whenever I can summarize what they have told me during the whole session, and then help them to see in clarity in the simplest format, then that's where it wins it over. Actually, my experience, right? Not many of them go into the technical thing. What are you going to deliver for me? Blah blah blah. It's never about that. It is when they see that you understand me, you can capture my problem, and you have a way to help me to walk towards solving that problem. That is a time that they know is trustworthy. And then above all else is that they know that I'm not there just to get your money. They know that you're really here to help. I think that is the message we need to send across. I'm here to really help you to move your business to the next level, be it solving a problem or be it moving towards a newer, the next level of your business, next season of your business. Yeah.
But I think what I hear is clarity. That is the most important. You have to see to help them to take the commitment.
Right.
So I think the rest, in fact, I write down 3 keywords, but I think that one is more on the journey already.
Right.
But when it comes to how do they attract and take that decision of, okay, I want to work with you, it's really you are able to help them to see the clarity. I think clarity in terms, particularly in their own business, that's most important. And even help them to see clarity and how you can work with them and how can you play a part to help them to transform.
Yeah.
So that's why I think clarity is one. In fact, the other 2 words I write is more on during a journey, but I think also during the coaching journey, you help them to see that. I put it in software car, right? You move a vehicle, move from A to B, right?
Yeah.
So you need a vehicle. Car, C stands for clarity, A stands for accountability, and R, of course, results, right? So I think clarity is, like you say, you can draw the insight and help them to see clearly about their business, and also how you can work with them, and how you can manage the A, which is accountability. And I always mention why we are called strategy coach. And of course, we always mention, right, a business most of the time fail because of 2 reasons: strategy and execution. These are the 2 reasons why they are failing and doesn't make it. So, but why we are called a strategy coach, not a execution coach or implementation coach? Because I think most of them, they have the ability to implement and execute, just they execute the wrong thing or implement the wrong thing or wrong direction. So as a strategy coach, we are there to point them to the right direction, but we keep them accountable on implementation. It's not that some people say, hey, I thought you're a strategy, but you're actually you're quite detailed. Their term, they call it detail, right? But it's actually, well, really look at the implementation, the 3 objectives that matter, weekly, keep them up. So they say you're actually quite, probably to them it's hands-on, but actually not really, right? Or I didn't thought you're involved in execution or implementation. Actually, we actually didn't involve. We just keep them accountable, right? So the key is not that we implement for them, but we keep them accountable. And again, if the implementation direction is wrong, we also help them to tweak it, right? So that's why the second, how we can add value, is really being accountable. Help them, keep them accountable on the clarity that they set, which is the strategy they set. And last is ultimately is result. We are not there to provide information. We are there to help them to have transformation, right? So, and what matters is really result. When I say result means transformation, no? What is transformation? Means A to B, right? So where they want to go. So we are there. That's why a lot of people say, oh, now AI will, and It will replace coaching. In fact, I use so much AI to partner with me. That's why I remember I quit a session, said that make AI your co-coach,
Right.
right? So because if they are afraid of AI, felt that AI will replace them, they will means that they still have the mindset of they are there to be the source of an answer. And it's not.
Right.
We are not the source of the answer,
Correct.
right? There are so many answers in now AI world and
right.
everywhere. In fact, even before AI, they also can have answers everywhere, right?
right.
So we are not there to be the source of answer. We are there to help them to make the right decision,
Alright.
right? So that they know, yeah, AI can give you 10 options. Which one do I make, right? There's
Right.
still everything. So we help them to make the right decision, the most strategic decision, and we're there to keep them accountable. Can AI keep you accountable? You say, you can argue, yes. But actually, no, you can ignore them.
Yeah.
Right? You can,
Correct.
whatever answer there, you just leave it out, right? But for us having that sitting with you 8 hours, do you think you can just ignore us or I don't answer? No, you can't, right? You just have to face it. So AI cannot force you to face it, right?
Right.
We are there to keep you accountable to really implement.
Right.
So you get a team in, implement. AI cannot force you to do that. You can just ignore, but you cannot ignore us, right? So, and ultimately, it's result. It is the result that really matters, right? And it's the transformation from A to B. AI cannot help you to transform, right? They can give you information. They can give you a lot of answer, but what is the right answer, strategic answer, and right decision? When I say decision means to cut off the rest.
Right.
AI can give you the courage to do that, right? And we can because we have the exposure, experience to able to tell you that this is the right way.
Right.
And many times, not just clarity, but confident. I think these two are the very important. Not that we how we differentiate ourselves from AI, right? And in fact, we don't really fight with them. I also leverage on AI as well, but we give them clarity and we give them confidence that this is the right decision to make, and we keep them accountable to achieve, and ultimately we are there to work with them to create the result. I think that's it. But in order to make them decide, it's clarity. It's the clarity, draw the insight. But to continue, which is the accountability and the result that matters. So, yep, great. Next question. Why do you think the business owner, perhaps they are already achieved certain result as well, right? Why did they choose to work with you?
I think beyond just results, everything, because I find that business owners, if purely just for result, I think it's very transactional because you can buy talents. I mean, technically, right? You can always buy talent, deliver result. Once you get the result that I want, or once you cannot deliver result that I want already, that's it. We end the contract here already. Right? It is very transactional. But the reason why business owners choose being beyond just the result is important. It's the character and intention, I would say. Every time as coach, I remember we went for a learning platform, in early, just before COVID. And that time we didn't have this pin. Yeah. And we went to this learning platform. There's quite a few of us in that learning platform, and we are all assigned to different tables. And when I was there, I arrived just when after their networking session. So I arrived, I sat at the table, and then when we do our discussion, one of them in the table was asking me, "Hey, excuse me, are you and that person in that table one same company one ah?" Then I see, oh, it's Nigel. Then I said, yeah. How do you know? The way you all ask questions, the way you all talk, all same one. I said, wow. So to me, it's like, wow, I think it is our identity. So of course, I asked, same as in good or bad. He said, of course, it's very good. He said, because it's the way that you guys ask, you're not forceful, you're not that. In fact, it's through that learning session that I closed another client there as well. So it's interesting that, wow, we are replicating this. And remember, I said one of our entrepreneur friends actually said, how many mini Joycia can you replicate? So, it's technically, yeah, we are creating a lot of minions. So, but in a good way. So I feel, yeah, it definitely is. That part cannot be replicated through just formula. It is capturing the heart of this organization or this movement. Only then we can live it up. If you cannot capture the heart, the essence of who 10X is, right? Our purpose, create business that matter, making them a force for good. It's hard not to be transactional. You know what I'm saying? It's very like that. Only we deliver this, got him. Then it'll be so very cold. But why 10X is very warm and people just want to be part of it because we are beyond just that, right? We are relational. One thing about 10x, we are really relational. Formula, framework, everything, principles, important, yes. But our community has this thing that money cannot, buy. Yeah.
Wow, good. I think what you shared is important just now. Maybe I start from what
Yeah.
the last point you mentioned. I think, uh, again, we always say, right, the both best of both worlds in the intersection, and we always, and as our first principle is results speak the loudest, right?
Right.
So result is so important for us, but relationship also very important
Right.
for us, right? So like I say, we are very strong in result, but I also emphasize we also emphasize so much on result. So again, it's the intersection between relation and result. We are not all relation but no result, but we also definitely not all result but no relation,
Correct.
right? So it's really how can we be really find intersection and creating result in the same time also being very relational. I think that is important. Just like you say, oh, speaking the truth is important, but most people be very straight speaking the truth and hurting people.
Correct.
But I think how can you speak the truth with love and kindness? Yes, I delivered. Of course, I don't want you to keep your truth.
Yeah.
I don't want you to, but I also don't want to speak the truth and lose the relationship,
Correct.
right? But how can you speak the truth with love and kindness? I think that is
Mm.
of course, that requires more effort. That's why I always felt people hide behind the being straight, being truthful, being honest, and they hide behind this word so that actually everyone they spoke to, they burn the bridge, right? And they hurt the relationship.
Right.
And say, oh, people don't like me because I'm being very truthful. I don't think so because I also very truthful, right? I also being honest, right? But I need to put more effort to be
Right.
more skillful and more intentional to
Yeah.
be speaking the truth yet
Yeah.
with love and kindness and also the right time and also think keywords really being more intentional. Sometimes the same truth may not be delivered by me, right? Because I know that our relationship is not that strong that this is not supposed to come from me.
Yeah.
But I care enough. Probably I need to talk to your leader or someone that can speak to you and share with the person, not as a gossip, but with but that they will know it, the how you bring it up.
Right.
That I really care for this person. Perhaps you could be the best person to speak into it, and that person can filter whether it's really true or not, right? If yes, they can speak. If not, they just come back to me. So,
Yeah.
I think that being relational and result is always the both engines or both pathway that we're always trying to push through. And
I think you mentioned a very key word there, which is making more effort, take more effort to try to bring the truth out with love and kindness, right? Love, care, kindness. It's definitely you need to put in a lot of effort on because you have to take care of the emotion as well and everything. A lot of people, I'm not saying 10x coaches, but there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there. They saw the truth. As you mentioned, they will dare to tell the truth, but they just straight away throw it out like that. Sometimes I realize those people just tell out like that. There's the other side of the coin, which is I'm just trying to prove you wrong, and then I prove myself right. And it's more like, yeah, see, I can see that I'm better than you. It's more on that kind of position and more kind of that posture. It's not going to help people. And the ultimate intention within 10x, you said 10x is born out of love. You always mention internally within the group. 10x is birthed out of love, right? So if really it's out of love, will you throw the truth to your family straight like that? You're lousy, you're not good in this and not good, and then that's it. You leave it there like that and let them rot, kind of thing. I'm sure you won't. Because when someone really care, you will try to find effort to how to bring this truth so that you see it and you will want to do something about it. Especially with now, I have my eldest daughter. Now she's going into college soon. Don't know what to do yet. So I need to step in. I just cannot straight away tell you, oh, you're good at this, your weakness is it, and then throw it there and then not walk her through like that. So if we really care for that person, we will walk that person on this journey. This is what I truly feel within 10x. We have this heart. So whenever we tell the truth, it's not like people outside just being blunt and then just use the word, I'm just like that. I don't think so. Because at least I know my founder doesn't do that. This is our culture within 10x. So this is crucial because again, the ultimate result, as you mentioned, we need to take ownership of how we say the things because it will define what kind of impact we're going to create for this person, right? We are there to create impact, transformative impact, and not just go there try to look good, trying to impress. See, I'm so good at it, and this and that.
But I hear just now is also, the part you mentioned about, oh, there's a lot of mini Joasia, right? So I think it's interesting. I think at first I was like, I still remember when I first started 10x, of course my heart, is born out of love, just supposed to help a friend.
Right.
There's Paul, right? 001. And actually 002, which is you, is also just to help, right? I
Right.
never thought of like the model or whatever. I just want to help, right? So that's why the intention was very different, the heart was very different, the beginning was very, very different. So that's why I always say that no matter how much you want to copy us, no matter how much you want to emulate us, or but it will turn out very different. Same, I say no matter how much you want to copy an artist or whatever, it just turned out different because everyone is very different, and the starting point is very different. So, and I should remember I shared with my close friend who really big business. They actually out of very, they said this, but it's actually in a good positive perspective, and I know that they care for me. They say. He said, what? You think everyone can be Joasia, man? He said, not so easy one. I mean, they also had the same question, who are they to coach? Who are they to do this? And like, not everyone is like you. I know you can do this very well, but not everyone can be you. So that was their genuine concern. And I take it as a really positive feedback. It's not that they are, I know them well, right? I mean, the tone also, I know that they are not trying to pour cold water or put me down. They're just genuinely concerned about this. So I said, yeah, but I said, it's okay. I mean, that's not my core business anyway. 10x, it was always my side business, right? Until now, right? So I always like, okay, I'm consulting. It's okay. I just help them. If works lah, right? But at least one person work already, then we just need to duplicate 1 to 2, right? 1 to 10, 10 to 100. So just in the sense, it's like, doing what we preach, right? I mean, acting on what we preach, and we say formalize, then you just try to formalize it. It works lah, right? It doesn't work. At least one life has been changed. Now second life has been changed. And let's see how it goes, right? So actually, my challenge was how can I duplicate 100 of me, right? So that's why, and of course, knowing that I'm not the best also, I think eventually I also want to capture what is best of everyone. So I said, but my goal first stage is really to duplicate. So actually, how can I? That's why we script a lot of work, right? Oh, what do you do? I'm a doctor for business, not for humans. So we scripted a lot of things to try to duplicate me, right? That's why they say in the market, the first 10, 12, a lot of people say, oh, there's a lot of mini Joasia in the market, right? So, but of course, over the time, I'll say, hey, this one, that's why now I do it formally at the podcast, but previously, of course, we always talk, we always engage, right? We are in mentoring, discussion. Actually, I was also in the process of seeking what works for you, what works for them, like a formularized process, a franchise-ready process. So then, what works for you? Oh, this is good. Then I put in the system. Then this is good from Paul, this is good from whoever, right? Our coaches in the beginning. I just add everyone together. Now it's actually 10x. It's no longer you hear people say it's mini Joasia because it's not just me. Now it's like a encapsulate of everyone's strength, right? And keep improving, and then we see, oh, this client what doesn't work, we keep evolving, right? That's why we have a tribe to consistently R&D improve, and we are always work in progress, right? It's always version 1, version 2. Now is our OS 10, next year 9, then 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, then OS 10, 1.2. So there's always improve. So eventually is no longer mini Joasia, but it's a lot of 10x coaches. However, what you say, the hardest is to capture the heart. In fact, if you want to, when we work on brand, we always look at, okay, how do I, if a brand is a human, how can we really duplicate, right, or replicate the person? First is really the heart. So what is the heart of this person, right? Then it's also image. How do they dress? So we are very particular with our dressing, right? At least if I wear a jacket, then what is the words that this person speak, and what is the action? What does this person do? And put together what is the system, right? The framework of this person. That is the best way. Of course, you cannot duplicate everything you're human. It's so complex, right? It's like a great design, the world-class design, but breaking down in this heart, image, words, action system perhaps is a way that we can help to duplicate a person. So that's why when I was doing, it's also that actually image, words, action system is considerably easier. It's also, of course, I don't want to play down. It's also very hard, but it's easier to how do you replicate the heart of the person. That's why you say over the years, those who really remain here and grow strong is those who are able to capture the essence and the heart of this organization, right? It's not just me, right? It's just really the beginning, the intention, the purpose, the choosing, right? How we start. That's why our PVMCP, right? A lot of people translate purpose. You go to Google, everywhere they will say muti. Muti, that's the translation. Purpose is muti. But I felt it's not true, it's not really muti. I think purpose to us, that's why we translate as choosing. It's really how you begin. That's why I say as long as we can continue capture the heart, it will continue to grow, right? Continue to shine. And because now 10 is very good, right? Everything. So over the past year, God has been good, right? We are in every parameters, we are growing and doing well, right? And we are enjoying what we do. We're happy,
Yep.
healthy, purposeful, right? So, but I think I will also foresee how, in what scenario we will continue growing and striving, like where we are right now, and in under what scenario and condition we will starting to die, and what scenario and incident, or under what scenario that we will really die very fast, right? It's like one is stop growing. Of course, stop growing is start to die lah, but it could deteriorate lah, maybe, right? So the other one is dying straight away.
Collapse, yeah.
Collapse. So I said, I already predict. I think as long as we, like I said, we remember the heart, why we do what we do, remember the true thing, why we started, like with this born out of love, right? So I said, as long as we continue willing to walk the extra mile for the next person. Next person could be, now you are team lead, you work for your coaches, and the coaches also work for the client and the new coaches. As long as they continue to walk the extra mile with love, right? 为爱多走一里路. As long as they are willing to walk the extra mile with love, we will continue growing and striving. Right, for client or for coach and for coaches, both, right? It's focusing out, so that it will continue to thrive and grow for many generation to come, right? Even 100 years, 1,000 years. Of course, our model may change, our product and service may change, but the heart is there. The cognition will continue to evolve, right? It's proven with so many hundreds of thousands of organizations. But when we will stop growing, which again start dying or deteriorating, is, like I said, very clear, when we are not willing to walk the extra mile with love, and you felt that, hey, it's not worth it. Like, why should I do that, right? And another word is focusing in.
Correct.
The moment we start focusing in, like, how much do I make, right? What is in it for me only? Right? Of course, again, it's balance. But if you just focus on that and know that we will stop, right? You will just remain, or the next person not willing to walk the extra mile. So it's enough, right? Just there. And in fact, no need to wait for next 2 generations. I already have coaches who we used to, like say, the first 12 coach, right? The first team lead, the current team lead 12 is the really, of course, the 15 is no longer, it's out of my reach. I think it's someone else impacted them. But for me, I have personally walked the extra mile for the first 12 team leaders. And I say that's the best I can do, right? 10 to 12. And I now depend on you to walk the extra mile for the next 10 to 12. And in the journey, the people, I said, they are not ungrateful, they are just forgetful. There are also team leads who tell me that, hey, because I expect you to lead the next 10 coaches, right? So he said, hey, this person really cannot pakai, It's like, of course, I say, if really the person, the heart is not good, then it's fine. If their character is good, they just cannot make it. I really want to walk the extra mile with them, right? So then this team leader tell me that, hey, this person really cannot pakai. But yeah, the heart is good, but really cannot pakai, It's not good lah, I cannot be useful lah. So then, in fact, I try not to be offensive, but I be straight, but with a good tone, that I said, yes, I think I agree. But I said, if you look back, you will also cannot pakai. That time lah. Right? He said, oh yeah, true also. Then he continued to walk. So another way is that he start to not willing to walk the extra mile with love, right? When I say that, I say, yeah, it's true. Yeah, I used to, but because someone who willing to walk the extra mile with me, right? For me and with me. So then, of course, he continued to walk with the person, and the person continues to stay on, right? And start to shine and perform. So I said, that's why I said that is when I know if we stop not willing to walk the extra mile with love, we will stop growing, and stop growing means start dying. And when we focus in, and I know when we will totally crash and very, very fast is when we start to be ungrateful and forgetful, right? I mean, focusing out is good. Focusing in is already bad. It means start to dying. But when you just really so deep into focusing in that you start to have the entitlement, is where we get killed, right? So in every organization, actually, not only our business coaching and all that, in fact, even in the Christian world, right? I mean, I remember Pastor always shared this, Pastor Tim would say, and he see again and again when Pastor fall, right, or the church start to crack or separated. Of course, not our church, it's some other churches that they see, or even the previous his experience is when pastors start to be entitled. They say, hey, I built this church, I support, why don't I can get more? So then the pastor started this, you see, that's why he always remind all other pastors that just to be really look out for entitlement. Don't have that. Once you have that, it's really the start of disaster, right? So I think same with us, when we coaches start to have the entitlement that, hey, I was the first 10 coach, I was the first 20 coach. Oh, my coach do well. Oh, I'm the 7x or 5x. I supposed to get this. Actually, when I said it, I also speak to myself. I just need to also remind myself that I don't go into that state of, hey, I'm the founder. I bring them up and all this. I start to forget about people who grow with me, and so when I start to be like that, and including towards clients, not only to 10x. So we also want to be grateful that clients are willing to invest in this journey. And we are all entrepreneurs, right? It's actually not, it's money, be it 30,000, 60,000, 120,000, because they're at different state, right? At that state, it's a lot of money to them. They really trust this journey and they put in money. And that's why I say we want to treat every client very sacredly. 很神圣啊，不是 just take it for granted. That's why I cannot take it when coaches don't prepare and take it for lightly, because you must also count. I always calculate for them, if you are taking even, let's say I take 120,000, let's say I just 36,000 client, right? So I say a 36,000 client means that 3,000, but we only work 1 day. Average is 22 day, right? Working day. You are equivalent to a 66,000 salary taker. Means that they are hiring someone with 66,000 a month, but you just come 1 day, so I pay you 3,000. Or if you are 60,000, so means 5,000 times 22, so you are actually 110,000. So means they're hiring someone with 110,000 monthly salary.
Correct.
And they just pay you by day lah. So you come in 1 day, I give you 5,000 lah. And if you are charging 120,000, 10,000 a month, you are equivalent to 220,000 CEO or salary. Can you imagine if you are paying that amount? What is your expectation, right? So means that to be fair, the client also don't like crazy, unrealistic expectation. They just trust and respect you. But I think that's why when I hear coaches just go in coaching session, just wing it, didn't prepare, just can lah. I mean, again, it could be the ego. I mean, I can. I've done so many times, right? So no prepare, go in. I really very frustrated. So sometimes you see why I'm so like angry or frustrated, because I felt that they don't treat this relationship with respect. They don't treat it secretly, and they don't honor the trust of the client that given to us, right? So
it's almost like scamming, really.
I won't say the scamming. Yeah, they still deliver value because they have the experience, right?
Yeah.
But it's really not just the result. And you know what, client also don't. Client was okay, right? A lot of client was okay. They feel value because really the of course our coach are all entrepreneur and they're all equipped, they're certified. They are really equipped. So even that they wing kicks, the client also don't know because it created value. But like I said that the client I mentioned, right? They say it's 1 to 10, it's 10 is good. But I know for me, I know it's 6, 7. I know can be better. So you actually know it. So that's why I want the coaches to take it really seriously, sacredly, and also gratefully, right? We really know. And that's why probably also perhaps I come from a agency background, right? Advertising agency, branding agency. For me to earn that 10,000, it's very hard, If you remember our JAD days, right? We have one retainer client for 10,000. We need to have one designer, one art copywriter, one account manager, just to serve the client. Sometimes it's even just delay a bit, you break even. And we are just struggling to earn that 10,000 a month, But now we are getting paid 10,000 just one meeting. And last time we spent there for half day meeting with client. When you go back, only we start the work, But now we finish, the job is finished, and it's just one person. And last time, even that, we need to pay all this outsource. But now it's just alone, we just pay the 70% to the 30% to the platform. Then it's all yours, It's like, wow, that's why I said, 好難賺嘅10千, don't take it lightly, Like the client really trusts you. So anyway, that was my really thinking of how.
So just now you're talking about the intention, what will break and what will not break us is the purpose, the intention of the heart. How there is a heart. So until today, I think myself, my wife, still very grateful to you in one thing. Before, when I just started to join 2018, I don't know if you remember, there's one night, middle of the night, I called you. I was in KPJ in Damansara Kim. My wife admitted to the hospital.
Oh yeah.
I remember, right? So it was quite devastating in the sense that just started this new journey, just starting to see, it's a new fresh start, new beginning, and suddenly bombarded with wife having complication, and then it's actually quite fatal. I told you, right? The next day, doctor told me she could have died, lost 1.5 pints of blood. But key thing is that when I called you, it was 2 a.m., 1 a.m., I can't remember, but you came. You're tired, I can see you're tired, everything, but you're still there and come. So that, my wife also recognized that, because, after the whole thing, I told her, I said, I don't know who else to call. I don't know who else can be there. Because I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen. But Joycia came. It is not just caring for work. It is caring for a person, even to the extended family. So that was, I know that you're not here just for transactional purpose. You're really here with a relationship as well. Really want to see this going long, and there's a sincere care. I think 10x up to today, if you can ask me, it's really, if love wasn't there, if the care wasn't there, I don't think we sustain that long. Seriously. Yeah, that is the one essence that many people cannot copy. Those who can copy this, they are all in 10x already. Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for reminding. Actually, I forgot I was there. But I think then when you say, I remember that case you shared with me. It was very deep memory on what happened.
Yeah.
But I forgot. Again, maybe I focused out too much.
Yeah.
I forgot I was there.
Yeah.
I just remember this incident. Right? I remember I prayed for it, but I think then I look back, I forgot I was there. So it means that it could be also part of my life. I mean, it's just part of my system that I need to be there, right, for you. Then it's also remind me of the one what we wrote in the John 10:10 book is the key to building a deep relationship is the 三观, right? 在关键的时刻给予关注，赢得真诚的关系, right? So it's like when during the critical moment, then you must really give out your full attention so that you win a genuine relationship.
Right.
I mean, it's no different. If it will be different if after 1-2 weeks I call you, hey, so how was it? It's different that you really at that critical moment you really give your attention. And of course, to get attention, you need to drop whatever you have lah. I mean, if you just be convenient, then it have to be 1 week later or 1 day later or a few days later, right? But you have to drop that and give the priority to that incident, and so you win a genuine relationship, right? So, and I remember our CFO our previous CFO, right, also one of our coach, when he did analysis of he also a consultant from together with me. So that's why when he give analysis to 10x, he said, actually 10x got one magic. He said it's very weird one, because he was in consulting also, but he know. So he said, one very weird thing is, of course, we're doing a good job, but there are cases who the coaches may not deliver very well, or the client left. None of them say bad thing about the next one. You see, this is very amazing, because for consulting, you do a bad job, you will get taro cao already one. You really get complained, get confronted, and then people he will talk bad about you. That's why consulting is very highly stressed. Of course, they also pay much more but you cannot do a bad job. Your reputation depends on every project. So, but for us, of course, we all do most of a good job. But even some clients, whatever value doesn't match or whatever, even they left as a client, they talk good about 10x, and I felt that is because they felt that we really care, right? It's because the people still don't know why, and now I look back, I know why, because we genuinely care for their business. So they don't blame us because of the result is good, because there's so many factors in the market, right? We cannot control everything in the market, so we do it our best, and yet sometimes result doesn't show up as the expected, and they know it's not because that we didn't do our good job. We really care, right? So great. If a new coach want to attract higher quality client, right? Because I think the first 70 you does, the BH self-check, I felt I don't have an answer, but I can quite have a hypothesis that many of them may not be a quality client. That's why it couldn't close, right? Quality as in they can really afford, or the quality could be monetary or non-monetary, right? Monetary is that whether can they afford it, they have the right size, and it's minimum size of certain revenue for them to afford that. Or second, it could be also their mindset. So it's not mandatory, but mindset. So it's money and mindset, could be these two, right? So if the new coach wants to attract a higher quality, what should they focus on first?
Of course, you just mentioned having the right pool. That's very important. But beyond that, I think new coaches, right, first, master yourself really well with the 10x system first. Because you cannot just go out and use your own experience and to add value. Because you're going out as a 10x coach, right, they need to see what value can a 10x coach have. Because if you go out as a friend, maybe you know them, the prospect as a friend, as a previous suppliers or whatever kind of thing, they know you as that. So what if you are already giving me a value just as a friend or as a previous supplier, why should I engage 10x in the first place? So master 10x the system first. And of course, the thing that I always emphasize, always go the extra mile, always add value. The intention is always to add value. The thing that it will go wrong is when you go in with the intention to close a client. Yeah, no doubt you want to, but the first intention is always about adding value. Close or not close doesn't matter, because as long as you know you did your 100% adding value, you do not shortchange them, great. I think eventually when the right time comes, they'll come and look for you. Just like I mentioned earlier on, my crab friend, I did business health check with him. It didn't go well. 2 years later, suddenly he became a client. Yeah. So that's what I for new coaches, be very well versed with 10x system. Now it's not like last time. Now we have everything there in place. It should be, you shouldn't have, new coaches shouldn't have any excuse not to get familiarized with this, where to find all this data. If you go through all that, I'm sure you should be able to close clients with the conviction. Unless the only thing that you won't close is when your value misaligned with 10x. That's the only reason. You came in just purely for transaction purpose, monetary purpose, then it won't work. Yeah. So my advice to coaches, yes. And then also, don't do it yourself anymore. Now you are assigned to, new coaches are assigned to a team. You have team leads, you have seniors in the team, you are even assigned to different people to mentor you and stuff like that. Everyone is approachable. Learn from others, follow others to learn. That's the fastest way I feel that you'll be able to siphon and knowing how to filter the right client. I don't think it is right to go and, it's good to be strategic, but when you're new, you don't go and try to filter, this one will waste my time, this one is this, and this one and that. Of course, we have a criteria set there already. If this person, minimum we say, has to be revenue 1 million ringgit, be able to qualify as a 10x client. But you'll be surprised, there are some who are not, there are quite a lot of entrepreneurs out there, they may not reach that revenue. Does that mean you don't add value to them? No, you should. They may not be your direct client, but their network, you never know, they have a family member or whatever. I talk about that. My first client sent me to a business health check. Long story short, the business owner, the referral that she gave is a listed company chairperson. Wow. I also to think back, wow, I don't know where I got the faith to be able to do that, but great that I went through that. Of course, did not become a client, but we got to know deeper the relationship and everything. So you never know the amount of value that it had. I went in just a simple tools that I have, golden ratio, 3 critical choices, yet I can hold 1 over hours of conversation. Either he's very entertained or he find a lot of value. There's a young chap here trying to entertain me. Okay, entertain. Either he's that or he really saw value. But I'm glad, that I wasn't chased out, so I think it's a good news. I remember you told me one statement that changed my perspective. I was just trying to quickly end and then leave. But you told me one thing. You said, "Hey, but you went. At least now you can tell you're no longer inferior of this business health check already." You even did a health check with a Tan Sri already. What else are you afraid of?
Multi-billion.
Yeah. So what else are you afraid of? It's part of your portfolio. You say, then I think back, yeah, that's a different position. That's another confirmation of myself. Actually, I can. Coming back to here is that never underestimate that desire, that intention of adding value. It's always new coaches. When you go in, do not try to filter as much as you can. Of course, if you have the network, great, do that. But always go in with the intention to add value. I will always say that. Doesn't matter who the prospect can be, but as long as you add value, I truly believe that the good will come. Because as you do what you want others do unto you, you begin to reap that result. Yeah. I always tell my new team members, I say, if you don't want people to come here just for a certain intention, right? You can feel it, right? Yeah. You want to have people who genuinely come in and care for you, add value to you. Then I say yes. Okay, then do that. Do that for the people around you. Now we are learning how to practice it. So for new coaches, again, number 1, before you go out, get familiarized with our system. And then follow, shadowing. That's the best way, fastest way to learn already. Last time we don't have, because there's only one director. There's only that limited amount of time. So you just have to try to catch your time, catch Paul's time, catch different people's time. Now there's so many seniors there. Be initiative enough to ask, can I follow you for a business health check? Yeah, I have this prospect. I don't know how to do it. So one of my team members is doing that as well. New, say, I got this. I don't know how to do it. Can you show me? Great. I say, let's arrange. And they learn on the spot. They get that's a faster way to learn it.
What I hear is like I said, what I like is when you say master, I agree, but I say actually don't need to master. You master along the journey, but you actually at least you get familiarized.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. Then follow, right? And follow people, and ultimately is with the intention to add value, right? I think to like I said, the purpose and the intention sometimes is a line that you need to draw, because the purpose is to close, right? But the intention is not to close. The intention is to also add value, and eventually the outcome was to closing, right? The client want to be your client, but of course. But that's why I emphasize so much. We see BHC as a seed of hope and seed of opportunity for us to touch life and business. So that's why I say even those coaches who have full, each of them sometimes take 2 or 3, 5. If they max out their capacity, I still want them to do business self-check, because this is, then you can truly tell people that I'm doing this not for the sake of doing, just to close, because I can take more clients, but I can definitely refer you to another coaches. But I'm doing this because I want to continue to impact and touch life and touch business. I think, that is the essence of why we are doing what we do, right? So the intention is to transform and touch life and add value. Then the outcome could be our client, right? Suppose I'm sitting in public listed board and then we have a platform that is value will nurture up and coming IPO-Ready company, and many of them eventually want to go for listing, right? But we get them ready. So a lot of people ask me IPO. Yeah, I say IPO, of course, initial public offering. But I keep emphasizing that if your focus is just to be IPO, again, you want to, but if you just focus everything on that, it may end up you may not able to, right? And they will go the wrong way. But I say if you see IPO in a different light, you see IPO not in just initial public offering, but you see it as input, process, and output. And the outcome is listing, right? So if you make sure you have the right input, you do the right thing, you have the right process, you process it right processes, formalize your business, and the outcome, which is the result and the deliverables to the client and the customer, is great, and the outcome can be listing, right? So same, our outcome could be become a client and stay for very long, but our input is really value, right? How much value we put. Our intention is really adding value, transform their business and life, and we have the right process and right output, and eventually the outcome will be there. So great. I think that's a lot of value that we get today. I think all the way from, actually we even cover, even though we put into section of client attraction, the business BSC coaching mastery, but in the journey we even answer, I think, all multiple layer of attraction excellence, business subject excellence, and coaching excellence. And I think we have even integrate in almost everything. So great. Thank you for thank you for your time, and I really looking forward how this can continue to replicate and duplicate to touch more business and life.